Give me the...
You're on.
I'm on. Good afternoon, everybody. And of course, our very good pal, Tekka. Good afternoon, everybody. And of course... That's very annoying. We're back live. As you can see, we're now in our studio. For those of you that have checked us out live before, I'd have been behind this wall in the original part of the shop. But we have extended, we have doubled our size. We have put a nice little studio down the end here, very tight. I have Ryan very close. I can reach out and touch him off camera as we set everything up. But it means we can display some rackets behind us. I can leave and go and find stuff for people. Pretty exciting stuff. But it's great to be back live. We haven't done this for months. I think probably June the last time we did it. But we will be getting back to weekly lives shared between, obviously, me, Ben, and Joe. As always, get your questions flowing. We've got half an hour today to get through anything you would like to know. My focus, though, before we have any questions, and in between any good questions, it is the year and the time of limited edition rackets. I have a selection here behind me, but I'm actually going to start with one that's off camera, which is the Wimbledon Pure Drive, which is an interesting one because it didn't get Liger. So let me know what you think of the bronze, I think it's fair to say. Bronze Pure Drive versus the usual blue one. Obviously a great racket. The new Pure Drive I think is superb. And this was one of the earliest editions of the year. Obviously we had Roland Garros and Wilson before, but we've covered that off on this live many times before. And then obviously we rolled in from the Wimbledon to the strings. Let me know, tensions, decisions between two. Let me know where you're listening from, all that good stuff, and we can start a nice conversation. Mr. O'Harrow, does the T-fight play different to the T-fight? Oh, the ID, so we'd jump ahead. If we go to the US Open T-fight option, for those of you that saw my review, we got quite a few comments in our video. I haven't tested them. Ben and Joe, in the last few days, because of the amount of comments, have been playtesting the T-fight ID versus the inline white T-fight to see if there is a noticeable difference. But I think there will not be. It's probably in your head that you prefer the blue rather than the white. But obviously the T-fight ID is mainly for Medvedev and Swiatek. They didn't really go so well for Daniil, did it? But you know, good luck Technofiber, you tried. So what else we got? Mr. Worley, he's got like a king next to his name. That must mean he's important. Which of the special ninjas is best for drop shots? I would obviously go for Mr. Radical, Mr. Versatility, the Radical Palm Tree. We'd have seen Taylor Fritz use this, got to the quarters of the US Open, so got some quite good visibility. I think one of the best looking rackets ever made. It looks even better in person than it does on camera. It is a Radical MP, so the people's racket, as many people describe it. So if I was looking for a racket with drop shots, this would be what I want to do. Good afternoon, Vishal, although I imagine, I know it's probably evening for you there, isn't it, in India? What do you think, Vishal? What's your favourite limited edition behind me? That was Palm Tree, obviously discussed, Wimbledon. US Open, we stick that. We have the Boom Neon. And also, just because I'm so organised, look, I even have the backpack. So yeah, I think the backpack's actually pretty cool. The details. A bit Marmite, the Boom Neon. We've had some players who've been playtesting the Boom recently who've wanted this one over the Boom inline colour. Others think it's maybe a little cartoony. I think it's quite fun. Nice little New York symbols on it, etc. But yeah, Boom Neon, the US Open option. I missed a comment. What we got? Ollie, why did they make the Arthur Bash a Boom? I don't think he would have used a power racket. Well, we'll never know. Yeah, I agree. There was a lots of comments, people talking about whether it should have been a Prestige. Absolutely, I think it should have been. I think it should have been a Prestige Tour. Would have matched closer to what he did and how he played. But either way, it is a great looking racket. And the Boom is a decent racket. It also comes with this really nice racket cover. Quite heavy, quite good. So, you know, silver linings. But yeah, Arthur Ashe, you've got the old school Wishbone logo, some nice details. nice imagery. It's a legacy racket, I think a good little collector's item if you can get one. But yeah, a great question from Jess. Is the boom struggling? Is that why there is so many booms? Who knows? I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that the new boom next year. But anyway, I didn't say anything. The boom obviously is Head's power racket. I would say it's not, speed is their most popular frame quite significantly. And gravity is actually kind of is up there as well now. The issue with the boom, I don't think it's not different enough. If you think E-Zone, Pure Drive, even Ultra, they're just slightly stiffer, slightly wider body to give you slightly more pop. I think if they did that with the boom and separated it out from the rest of the range a bit more, almost towards an older Instinct, it would be really effective. But having said that, a lovely little racket. Yeah, Vishay, I agree. The MPL is also superb. The Speed MPL and the Boom MPL, both very, very popular. But yeah, the silver one is the Arthur Ashe Boom. Only available in the MP, so you can't get an MPL one. But yeah, it's the Arthur Ashe competition one. Obviously matches the colour. Ollie, have I seen the new boom? I'm seeing the new boom. I didn't say there was a new boom. You tricked me. I may be seeing a new boom in a few weeks' time. Very sneaky. Very sneaky. So yeah, limited edition. So Palm Tree, obviously we discussed the Taylor Fritz US Open version, and this is the really understated bag that comes with it. So if you want to like really blend into the background and generally be subtle, then this is your option. So there you go. Cool, as always, let me know where you're watching from. We got from India, where is O'Harrow and Stillwell from, I wonder. And let me know what racket's using. Vishay, you said your wife uses the MPL Boom. What do you use? Joe Wally really into drop shots today. What special edition is best for drop shots now? What string is best for drop shots? And what's the best string special edition combo? Well, it depends if we're talking about looks. If we're talking about looks, then I imagine there's a real nice combo here with like a couple. You know what you could put in this? You could put in the rainbow synthetic gut. That would be great. M-Tekka, he's awake. He's here. If vacationing in Turkey, can you bring some rackets, cash and carry? Or how many rackets do you want, M-Tekka? If you buy enough, I will deliver them personally. And then we'll cut them all in half and see what the fuss is about. Derek, Long Island, New York, awesome. I'm from Croydon. Very extravagant. Exotic, one could say, Croydon. Long Island, New York, very nice. What racket do you use, Derek? Ray, how did you injure your knee in that Yonex House video? That's a good story. Everyone assumed that I fell over like walking into the Yonex House. That is not what happened. Before we went to the Yonex House, we got to play tennis with Ben Shelton. Ryan, find a picture of me with Ben Shelton to prove it. You can put it up. Can you do that?
No.
Oh. And those of you not in the UK probably don't know what Dingles is. You'll play the same game, but only we call it Dingles. Anyway, I got lobbed, ran back, tweener through the legs, crowd went wild, I slipped, stumbled, fell over in slow motion and landed on a drag net where I'm playing on clay and sliced my knee open, and that was in the morning. And then later on, I obviously did the walkthrough of the Yonex House. Blood gushing, but I met Andy Murray and he obviously was like, "We've done to your knee." Told the story and he said it was probably worth it. So me and Andy, basically best mates. So yeah, thanks Ray. I enjoyed telling that story. You've allowed me to do so. Not extra. Got Joe. You're really into drop shots today. Obviously, drop shots. You want a softer string. You want some feel. So natural gut would be good. But obviously, if you also want looks, natural gut in one of these, you then need the frame to do the pop. So obviously something like a Radical Palm Tree where you've got the bright colours, you can get away with that more neutral string colour because the racket will still look great. From Skegness, I think that's our first ever Skegness person, so welcome all the way from Skegness. Do you play much tennis outdoors in Skegness this time of year? I imagine a little bit breezy. So there you go. So I've got to ask Mr. from New York, where were you? Did you get to the US Open? How was it? Let's talk US Open. What a final that was. Alcaraz and Mr. Sinner. I've had some negative, just in and around sort of coaching lessons and other groups, I've heard some negativity around Sinner in terms of a bit boring, a bit consistent, I can't think of what the right word is, but not, Alcaraz is such the opposite of that, inventive and creative. And I think that contrast really shone through. It's a little bit when Djokovic first came onto the scene, and when he was really effective on hard courts, he was very methodical, very much robotic, very, very textbook. And that meant a lot of people didn't necessarily affiliate to him because of that, and then has maybe slightly changed his image as he's gone through his career. But I think Sinner maybe suffered from the same sort of thing. I think Alcaraz is generally going to be more popular because of his style of play and his all-roundness. I've missed some things. Jess from Surrey. What tennis club in Surrey are you at, Jess? I know a few clubs in Surrey. Mr. Derek Dunlop, CZ200 Tour 1820. That's a very specific racket and a tough one to use. I assume you put a nice, well, I'd put a relatively powerful string in that to try and liven it up a little bit. Depends how good you are, of course. Very chilly in Skegness, yeah, funny that. How do you feel when pros endorse rackets they don't use? I think it's been that way for so long. I think that it's unreasonable for us to expect players to change rackets as often as new rackets are released. And then maybe there's a discussion, an argument where, well, should tennis brands make rackets as often as they do? If a pro wouldn't benefit from changing and upgrading, why would anybody else? So I think that there is a validity to that point. But I think commercially in the world that we are, I think brands are always going to ask players that are getting screen time and getting publicity to endorse their product, to then expect the player to use that exact product rather than just a cosmetic. Because you also got to remember, even if a player did use, so I don't know, like Ben Shelton uses an E-zone, that he's endorsing, even if he's using the E-zone, but he's endorsing E-zone 100 SL at the same time because it looks the same. So there's already discrepancy, even if they use the actual racket, the family of racket looks the same, and they're endorsing the whole lot. So I think that probably just about justifies it. But I think there should be more clarity around it, and the pro stock frames should be more available. Obviously the new Wilson Ultra is the traditional steam version that Raducanu uses and others. So I think the fact that that's now, they're starting to come, that H19 mold, so the fact that that is now coming into the sort of commercial area is positive, because I think more people will get to understand why pros use those rackets and the strengths and weaknesses, and why there is more mainstream rackets alongside, and why they're arguably more popular. Derek, I went to fan week only. No tickets. Well, yeah, I would have been, I don't know, we probably don't want to get too political, but I mean, having to wait in the rain to go through security to get in because Mr. Trump was there would have been a little annoying if I'd paid for final tickets, but you know, let's not go there. Mteca, when's the new Head rough string coming? I haven't met Head for next year. I'm seeing them in the next week or two. So I'll have full details on new racket releases, new string releases, new footwear releases, new bag releases, and everything in between. Because there is a brand new Head racket. What? A new performance racket that's not in the range currently. And there's also one that's currently in the range that's going. That's as much as I can tell you. And then can you guys compare oversized rackets? 102 to 110 with thinner beams, no 25 thick clubs. Yeah, there was, what was the racket that we were sent? The Zenith. The Zenith, which is a 115 square inch head, I think it was, but narrow beam. And we played it a little bit. We need to actually play test it again and do a bit more. What do you think of pickleball? Well, we're not here to discuss pickleball, are we? Come on. It has its place, but we're here for tennis. We've done some videos, Mteca, comparing the different head size between like 98 and 100, but you're right, it would be quite fun to do some testing between yeah, 100, 105, 110, 115. It may be in a racket like the E-Zone where you have that 100, 105, 110, 115 available, how much that changes. And importantly, when you go to that oversize, how string tension changes and affects the playability. You go bigger, you tighten up the strings, and so you almost make them a little homogeneous. But I don't know. Yeah, anyone that's joining in, let us know where you're watching from, what rackets you use. If you're thinking about upgrading, this is a good time to upgrade. Season's coming to an end, US Open's finished, you're going to train all through the winter and then be ready for the spring, Northern Hemisphere, obviously. Cynthia, hello from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, very funky in North Carolina. Would you suggest the Yonex Polytour Rev or Tourline Super for RF01 Pro? Whoa, good question. RF01 Pro, heavy, a little tough. I assume that's Tourline Super Toro that you're going for. I would probably, in that, go with Polytour Rev because it's slightly softer. Super Toro and the RF01 Pro isn't that forgiving, I think it's fair to say. So a more forgiving string and a string that gives you a little bit more spin is probably going to be helpful. So I would go. No worries, Jess. No worries. We won't come and find you. What recommend for serving? My friend double faults a lot. Loads of people double fault a lot. If you double fault a lot, then you should check out our coaching channel. So those of you that are regulars will have been on this channel for a while, where we talk about equipment in our shop, but we also are a team of coaches. That's our background. So if you search PH Tennis Coaching, we have a separate YouTube channel. We have all sorts of content on there, and we actually have some online courses. Our current serving course is about how to serve faster, so it probably wouldn't help your friend particularly for double faults, but I imagine we'll have a second serve masterclass coming soon, so maybe keep your eyes out for that. Who is your current favourite player on tour that isn't one of the top 20? Manarino, obviously. I don't know what number he is. He's normally kicking around 30, but yeah. Marino kind of highlights how you don't have to play in a certain style. You don't have to prescribe to textbook tennis. You can be relatively flexible.
He's 55.
He's 55 in the world, thanks, Sean. But yeah, longevity on tour, playing in his own way, super low string tension, super slow swing speed, but works. He's made it work for himself. A lot of respect to him. He's also very good looking, so well done, Adrian. Jess, what I'd like to know, are there some slick string alternatives to Tourline but from mainstream brands? Not really. That's kind of where Tourline, Restring have jumped ahead, is in the way they're coating the copolymers, how they're making them slicker and the snapback better, and therefore the longevity and tension maintenance is better. That's how they've managed to steal a march, take some market share away from your traditional big string boys, Luxolon, Head, etc. Babolat especially. I think Babolat's been using the RPM blast for so long that a new one. That's why you could say Alcaraz has shifted from RPM blast to RPM team from a similar perspective, something a little bit more forgiving. But yeah, that slickness is really Restring 0 and Sync, and then the Tourline setups as well. O-Toro I think is a great string, by the way. M-Tech, I'm using the Tempo 298 and Whiteout, torn between them. So I'm a big fan of the Technofiber Tempo. I think it's a very good racket. The Whiteout V2 I've only used once, but Ben is really into it. So yeah, tough one. Personally, I think I'd probably go Whiteout still, just slightly better. But interesting. Have you cut them in half though, Mteka, to really understand what's going on? Because we know you like to do that. Sko, hello from Maryland. Awesome. What would be a good control string? Toning in the power of Pure Strike 98. You got the new Pure Strike 98 Carbon. Excellent. My current string app is Restring Sync and X1 biphase. Well, that sounds delicious. I don't think you should change it. That sounds really nice. But toning in the power, you've already got Sync, which is, X1 biphase is a very powerful string. But you do have it tighter at 56, and that's also well done. 10% more. It's good setup. I assume you don't want to change and put a poly in the crosses, because that would reduce the power. You get a bit more spin and therefore some more control, but you'd lose the benefit of the feel that you get from that. So yeah, tough one. You obviously could tighten it up a bit. You could change restring sync for Vivo. That would reduce it a little bit. Or change X1 biphase for maybe like an Addiction Plus or something from Babolat. It's slightly less powerful. But you've got a very nice setup there, so it'd be more tinkering than anything. Sorry, I can't be more help. Hello, it has been a while since you caught live, because this is our first live for like 4 months. As you can see, we're in a new part of the shop. We've been building, and then we've had the busy summer season here in the UK. So now we're kind of past that. US Open's finished. We have a bit more time to bring you some more content. So yeah, we'll be here hopefully most Thursdays at this time. Myself or Ben or Joe will be tuning in. And we've got about 5 minutes left. Thank you. My assistant is telling me that. Derek, various strings. I asked you what you put in your Dunlop CX, didn't I? Yes, hybrids, Razor Code. Yeah, Razor Code, nice in that, I imagine. But yeah, it makes sense, because you use that sort of control precision racket like a CX200 and giving it a multi-filament zero cross from restring. That's my current go-to. If I didn't use the Pure Drive, it's tough. I'd probably go V-Core, I think. Of which the Onyx V-Core has been out a few years, hasn't it? There's been a white one released, so maybe there'd be a new one soon. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. Lastly from you, Jess, that's all right. You can ask many questions as you like. My original Extreme Tour Grabbing 360 Plus, is that the grey one, 360 Plus? Grey in the throat and then yellow on the Extreme? Because if it is, that was a brilliant racket. So I'm very sorry to hear that you got a crack in the throat.
It was the first exotic.
Was that the first exotic? 360 Plus?
The one after that was the first exotic.
So my favourite Extreme, sorry Jess, is the one after that. The first exotic one. But if you liked that Extreme Tour, you're probably going to like the sort of head family. So you could go with something. Obviously, you could try the new Extreme version. But I'm quite into the new Speed Pro, so that might be worth trying. Speed Legend, sorry. New Speed Legend's got a new tech in it, and that tech I think I can say it will roll out through the rest of the range in the next year. Thanks for bigging up our new live setup. I know, super professional, but I'm getting very hot under the lights. So I'm glad we're only doing half an hour. We've got 2 minutes left because I'm starting to get a little warm and need a drink. Final questions. Anything on recommendations, what you use? Excitingly, we are starting to offer a new product. So for those of people that like this sort of format but want even more sort of one-to-one time, we sort of always had the idea that we want to have a online presence and our website and everything that is like coming in store, so we can give the same advice to somebody whether they're in store or in the rest of the country. So we're now offering virtual consultations, so they're going to be set up from next week. So you'll have 15 minutes with myself. You'll want a power racket, or you've watched a video that I've done and you think that I'm going to help you better, or if you've got a single-handed backhand, you want help from Ben, then you can select to have a session with Ben. We bring all the rackets out, we show you, talk them through, explain the differences, and then if you're in the UK and you purchase one, you get all the money back that you paid for the consultation anyway. So you basically just help you be certain that it's the right racket for you. Equally, if you're not in the UK and you want completely unbiased help and support, then you can also book it and we can go through the same sort of thing. But obviously we wouldn't be able to supply you, but you'd be able to go to ideally a nice local independent option as we are wherever you are. That information coming out soon, but hopefully allowing more people to get the right advice to select the right racket. I believe we're into our final 60 seconds, so any final questions, points, comments please let them come in. Oh, here we go. I played with the new Wilson Clash. Looking for an upgrade. I think the new Wilson... See, this is the problem. With a similar feel and comfort, you're not going to find anything. The current Wilson Clash, the version 3, is so soft. The feel and comfort is so good that it stands alone in that field. So if you're trying to upgrade the racket, is that in terms of playability? Because if that's the case, you need to look at string if you're trying to keep the feel. So play with some string options, that would be it. A modern lighter racket compared to the Pro stuff. I'm thinking maybe the Solinco Whiteout. Yeah, Solinco Whiteout would be a nice option, lower than the Pro stuff. I'm just trying to think. Gravity Tour 305 would be pretty good as well. In a